എല്ലാവർക്കും ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ സ്വാഗതം. ഇന്ത്യൻ അസോസിയേഷൻ ഷാർജയുടെ ഭാഗമായി ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ക്ലബിൻ്റെ ഇനോഗ്രൽ ഫംഗ്ഷനാണ് ഇന്നിവിടെ നടക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ കുട്ടികൾക്കും അവരുടെ മാതാപിതാക്കൾക്കും ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഇന്ത്യൻ അസോസിയേഷൻ്റെ വക ഹൃദയം നിറഞ്ഞ സ്വാഗതം ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. ഇതിന് മുന്നോടിയായി നമ്മൾ നടത്തുന്ന കുട്ടികൾക്കായിട്ടുള്ള കരിയർ ഗൈഡൻസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പല രീതിയിലുള്ള ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ടുള്ള ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അതുകൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ കുട്ടികൾ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ രക്ഷിതാക്കൾ ഞങ്ങളോടൊന്ന് സഹകരിച്ച് ബാക്കിൽ ഗാലറിയിലൊന്ന് ഇരിക്കണം. കാരണം നമ്മളിവിടെ കുട്ടികൾക്കാണ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. സോ ഇപ്പോൾ തൽക്കാലത്തേക്ക് ഇരുന്നോളൂ. ബട്ട് കുട്ടികൾ വരുവാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾക്കൊന്ന് ഫ്രണ്ട് സീറ്റ് അവർക്കായിട്ട് ഒഴിഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. സോ ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ക്ലബ് പഠന പ്രക്രിയയുടെ അവിഭാജ്യ ഘടകമാണ്. പാഠ്യേതര പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളിൽ പങ്കാളിയാകുന്നതിലൂടെ അക്കാദമിക് അനുഭവം സമ്പന്നമാണ്. ഇത് വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളെ ക്ലാസ് മുറിക്കപ്പുറം അവരുടെ താല്പര്യങ്ങൾ പിന്തുടരാൻ അനുവദിക്കുന്നു. ഇന്ത്യൻ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ക്ലബ് ISE 2022 മാർച്ച് 16 സ്ഥാപിതമായി ഇന്ത്യൻ അസോസിയേഷൻ ഷാർജയുടെ ഉപസമിതികളിൽ ഒന്നാണ്. ഇത് വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾക്ക് ക്ലാസ് റൂമിന് പുറത്ത് അവരുടെ കഴിവുകൾ പരിശീലിക്കാനും വികസിപ്പിക്കുവാനും അനുവദിക്കുന്ന പ്രോഗ്രാമുകൾ, ഇവൻറ്റുകൾ, പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ എന്നിവ പ്രോത്സാഹിപ്പിക്കുക എന്ന ലക്ഷ്യത്തോടു കൂടിയാണ് ഇങ്ങനെയൊരു സംരംഭത്തിന് തുടക്കമിട്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. So once again, welcome you all to Indian Students Club presented by Indian Association Sharjah. Myself, Dr. Surabhi Tirukot, and I have my co-anchor, Sapna Gopinath here.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the Indian Students Club inauguration to one and all of you. We wish you a very pleasant day. This very young person, he started as a hobby to beat his boredom, and then he began to learn everything about software, about app development, and what he started to beat his boredom. Today, he has become the youngest CEO of this region. I'm pleased to invite on stage Aditya and Rajesh, grade 11 student studying in Indian Asian School, Dubai.
11-year-old boy, CEO of a company, Aditya. How do you feel, guys? Proud moment, right? Give him a round applause, please. Over to you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
You have your friends here. Avare help cheyam. At the same time, parents ine endana advice kodukendathu. It's your lucky day. Okay? Sure. All the best.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. It's not my first time in the stage. I think it's around second or third. I've been in this very same stage before multiple times, and yeah, wonderful opportunity. So before I go into my actual topic, I'd like to talk about what I do. You know, what made me come here. You know, like basically what I've been doing all over the while. So I think around when I was 9 years old, I had this boredom which just struck. And then, I had this very much passion for computers and technology from a very young age. I always knew I had to do something related to computers and technology when I grew up as well. So I think when I was around 9, I made this little app which could help you go to any website and just browse, right? Like a very simple app. Out of my luck, it somehow blew up, and so many of my friends saw it and they told me it's very good. And I think when I was 12 or around 13 or something, and I had this friend of mine who was very tech savvy as well. So what both of us used to do was, we used to talk about latest tech trends. We used to, talk about what's trending in tech and everything. And out of nowhere, we realized that there was this, very sudden growth for e-commerce platforms at that time. E-commerce was growing very highly, and then grocery shopping and everything was going very well. So we wanted to do something related to that as well. In that time frame, if we could pull it out, it could be, a massive success. So we made this little online shopping store where you could just come and buy any, cheap tech items, like any tech gadgets, but like for a cheap price. So, if someone is selling it outside for like a higher price, we'd sell it for a cheaper price and make, profit out of it. Well, it sounds confusing, but yeah. Well, I mean, it obviously didn't become a $1 billion unicorn or anything, but then, even though it was a failed startup, we had a lot of experiences, it helped me overcome my fear of actually going out to people and talking to people. It helped me actually learn a lot of new skills, and it made me a better salesperson, I'd say. Secondly, I think I was when I was around 14 or something. Again, it was this time I struck with technology. I knew programming was sort of something I really enjoyed, and I wanted to do something regarding it beyond. So, when I looked around, the current digital agencies in Dubai were very, I'd say very normal. Like they weren't doing anything new. It was all very normal, and they weren't doing anything that could be like that looked very crazy or anything. So I wanted to do something with the same digital agencies, the same people that were existing, but something cooler, right? So my friends and I, we created this little digital agency. We provided tech solutions and design solutions, and we called it Trinity Solutions. Well, if you ask me what does it mean, TRI just stands for triangle, which means just three of us. So yeah, Trinity Solutions. So I think that's what it shows over there. So that was my actual first venture that really went well, and it brought me in multiple news medias and everything. After that, I think last year when I was 15, my friends and I, we were stuck at home. Again, it was the COVID season. Education is a big market as all the time, and we wanted to do something tech related. So we created this little platform, knowing that we all have this one friend who teaches us before the exams, like 10 minutes before the exams, and helps us go well. So we wanted to bring the same concept, but into real life. So we made this platform where children of the same age could come and teach people, right? So let's say you're someone who's good at a specific skill. Now this could be karate, programming, music, violin, whatever it is, and you could teach it to me, right? And you could earn and you can make money out of it. So we built this platform in around less than 2 months. We had 1,000+ users just in the UAE, and the third month we hosted this competition with more than 100,000 people around the world, right? Around 5 globes. And I think that was quite an accomplishment for a 15-year-old and some of my friends. Now, how did this help us? It helped my friend land up in Minerva University in the US. So that is quite a bit of stuff I've been, past worked on. And currently in 2022, I'm the head of product at Okta, which is an underrated productivity tool. We are sort of crunching productivity for students, and we are building on an MVP soon. So, the topic which I'm supposed to speak here is youth innovation and impact. Now, there's one question I have for everyone is, are we the best generation yet? You don't need to answer, you can just keep it in your mind, and it's totally all right to say no, you don't have to be very sure about it. And, just looking at Indian population, which is around 1.2 billion, we haven't bet China yet, well, hopefully in the future. Now, let's just take 50% of it, that is the teenagers, the youngsters of the country. That is around 632 billion, right? As of today, we have 632 billion teenagers just in India, which considerably is double of US population. Now, with such a strong population, doing multiple things, now, it's this young India that is cultivated in a lot of new things. Now, how do I consider this a very privileged generation? Now, if you looked at the previous generations, not our grandparents, they are quite a new generation, but I think mostly the ancestors. So if you look at them, if they had to write love letters or whatever, they had to wait for months and months, and they wouldn't even know if they would actually get the love letters. And for us, in the same case, we can even track our orders and cargoes and deliveries and whatnot. Now, for our parents, it was much, I think, easier because they had to the amount of knowledge they gained is the more amount of money they paid. So they had to go to libraries, they had to purchase ebooks and whatever, and then they had to read it, right? But think of us, we are a very privileged generation. We don't have to do any of these. Any data we need, any information we need, any right to information we need, it's all in our fingertips. All we can do is just go to a phone and just search for it. Now, we are a generation with the right to know if an information is right, very debatable, but yes. But we have the power to knowledge, we have the power to data, we have the power to everything. We don't need anyone's help, and we don't need to be considered to be having any of these knowledge. We don't have to pay for information. We don't have to wait for 4 to 5 months to send a message or receive a letter. It's all in seconds. Now, if you go to our ancestors, and I think they would refer as an instant gratification. Now, what does that mean? That means we eat likes, shares, and comments for breakfast. Now, you talk about something that you don't even know in Instagram for hours and hours. Now, let's say, as you could say, just Jay Shetty or Andrew Tate is sort of ruling the world right now. But my whole point is, we are a generation, like this is my favorite part of the speech, right? We are not a generation who has a lot of kindness and empathy. Now, that is something to be noticed. We don't have a lot of kindness and empathy. We are a generation, so now let's look at it, okay? Now, our parents, the only choice they had to do is get a good job, be well settled, and, take care of the family. But we are the only generation in the world that has a choice to become a podcaster, gamer, creator, YouTuber, do right swipes on Tinder, and also become a scientist. So I think in that way, we are a very much privileged generation. We have the right to do anything. We have all the data in our fingertips. Now, that's not about it, right? And now, if you look at all the things we're doing, so if I ask people why are they not doing what they want to do, like why they are stopping themselves from doing it, so it's I think mostly three things, right? So firstly, they would come and tell me they don't have enough money to go behind it. Secondly, they don't have enough accessibility, and thirdly, they don't have enough discoverability. So they really don't know who's going to know of them doing all these things. Like they're not going to be in the media, they're not going to be in the all these newspapers. They won't be known by people even if they're doing something really cool. Like we are the kind of people who supports all these Instagram supermodels, and not our classmates who are doing an amazing work. So if you look at it, firstly, money only makes more money. It doesn't create wealth. So like when you reach home, just go to Google and search what is the difference between money and wealth. So in this book by Naval Ravikant, he very much sort of tells about the difference between money and creating wealth. So if you have money, you just create more money, and it doesn't create you wealth. Secondly, for discoverability. Now, you could either be doing a lot of things, but it doesn't make you earn credibility. So even if you do a lot of cool things and people knows about you, it still doesn't make you credible, right? Now, people doesn't trust you, or like people doesn't really approve you of actually doing the thing that they tell you're doing. So and thirdly, it's about the community. It's about building proper brands, and all these brands building proper communities. So in my opinion, firstly, you have to make wealth instead of money. So create something that creates you proper money and proper wealth. Secondly, do something that firstly shows you are credible, and secondly makes you discoverable for your credibility. Thirdly, every brand in this world, like if you go to any brand in this world, let's say for example Google's biggest power is their teenagers. I mean, I would say the people who work for them. So in that case, what is the biggest power of a country? Yes, people firstly, and then secondly coming, which is the youngsters, which is the super force of the country. Now, if you look very properly, you can see that every company, or like every of these brands, they strive really hard to create a brand. So every brand, they do their best to create a proper campaigning, make a proper community, because having a community is the best part. So I don't think so Tangle would have been able to do properly and get 100,000 people around 5 globes, and me and my friends sitting at home wearing a pajama. So I think creating a proper community around a proper brand is the biggest deal. And one more thing to mention is a proper mantra. So when we're building anything, that could be a unicorn startup. Let's say something, for example, metaverse and VR, which is very much trending right now, along with cryptocurrencies and economical stability. So if you just properly look around, all these things are trending, even from smallest of the startups in gullies in India to unicorns in Silicon Valley. So I think it's these little things that mostly matter than actually, knowing and figuring out what's in life. So it's about fighting with the confusion. So like everyone has a different view of their life, but it's actually about how you define it, how you find yourself perfect. So I'd say you try 100 things, but you fail in them, and then again do the 101 thing. So like until you feel perfect and perfectly being able to do something, just keep doing it, right? That's what I did, and I think that's something all of us should be doing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is it.
Just wait.
Aditya,
Thank you. Wait.
how is this speech? Any questions to Adityan? I'm requesting students എല്ലാവരും ഒരു സൈഡിൽ ഇരിക്കുമോ, സോ ദാറ്റ് നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആരാ പാരൻസ് ആരാന്നൊന്നും മനസ്സിലാവും. കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കൂടുതൽ ഇൻട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ നമുക്കൊരു സ്പേസ് കൊടുക്കണം ഇവിടെ. അപ്പം റിക്വസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഓൾ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ടു സിറ്റ് ദിസ് സൈഡ്. ആദിത്യനോട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക്? എന്തെങ്കിലും ആദിത്യൻ്റെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു സിഇഒയിലേക്കുള്ള ഒരു മാറ്റം വന്നത്, പഠിത്തവും അതേപോലെ തന്നെ ബിസിനസ്സും എങ്ങനെയാണ് കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നത്, ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒക്കെ ഒരു പക്ഷേ നിങ്ങളിൽ ചിലപ്പം ഉണ്ടാവും, നിങ്ങളുടെ മനസ്സിലുണ്ടാവും. അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും അറിയാനുണ്ടോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക്? Okay, behalf of them, Adityan, I want to ask you one question. What is your profit, net profit?
I keep that private.
Okay. Superb. So, second question. Parents എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇതിനോട് encourage ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്?
Very supportive. I don't think so. I'm very much pressurized by the school pressure. So, I mean, it's not pressure, but I don't think so. I'm very much affected by it. So, in that way,
How are you managing your studies as well as your business?
I think I've taken subjects which interest me the most, which is science, and I don't really find it that difficult. So, I'm managing pretty well. I'm also doing, I'm doing something I'm very passionate about. So, I get enough time to manage my business as well.
Okay. One more question from my side. Seems like ഞാനാണ് കൂടുതൽ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റഡ് ആയിട്ട് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് തോന്നും. But behalf of you guys, I'm asking one more question. What is your ambition?
My ambition, I think in simplest word, is to create good products that can make people's life easier. So, if I can make at least one person's life easier, that'll be my ambition.
And what is your advice to your friends?
Just find what you love. I think keep doing things until you find what actually is your thing, and then find happiness in it.
Thank you, Aditya.